Omer Rav Huna, you'd get you'd on the base. Retzeach shegala, a retzeach, a murderer. But of course, we're talking about someone accidentally killed. Shegala is on his way to go to the cities of refuge. Umatzoi Goel Hadom, and the Goel Hadom is you're talking about here someone who's redeeming the blood. That's the way it's translated. This means the closest, nearest kin to the one who was killed, finds him, vaharogoi, and kills him, Potter. Now, let's have a look here. Motzo'oi goel adom. Let's have a look at this Rashi. Bederech bahalichoso. Can you see that in the Rashi? He finds him on the way, bahalichoso. Have a look. There's a little base. The little base takes us to the Hagor Sabach on the side. Well, have you got it? Hagor Sabach, Rabbi Yoel Circus. He's got some extra notes, and I think you've got that too. All right. Oh, extras there, Laurie. Good to see you. Mervyn, good. Have a look at the little base, please. Have you got that? Now, I don't know, on mine, it's on my left-hand side. I don't know what it is for the Gemaras you've got, or whatever. Can you see that little base in the Rashi? The little base in the Rashi takes us to the Hagor Sabach. Extra emendations. Simon, good one. We're looking at Yud Omid base, looking at Hagor Sabach, the little base. Which side, Peter, of the Gemara is it? On the right, the left? That little base. Well, you can see the base in the Rashi.
Yeah, it's on the.
It takes me
on the right. On the right.
On your right, fair enough. Under where it says Hagor Sabach, in mine it's on the left. It depends on the print. And we're talking about Nun base. Could be Nira Ba'inai. Koloimar, in other words, it's a problem here that Rashi is solving. That's Koloimar. Koloimar means there's always something difficult. Koloimar means in other words, but he's trying to explain what the issue is here. If he is already in Ori Miklot, and then he comes out, and then he comes out of the borders. This is someone who's killed, sadly, accidentally. I should say accidentally killed. Sadly killed accidentally, not killed. Accident. Yeah, anyway, okay. Have a look at Rashi. There will be an argument of Tanoim, Plukta de Tanoi Lekamon, in the very next Mishnah on the next Omud. There's a whole case and argument, machloikas, about when leaving the Orei Miklot once he's got there. We are not talking about that. That's why Rashi very particularly says, Bederech, on his way, Bahalicho, so he's getting to Ori Miklot. Okay, so this is first, say the initial visit before he's actually settled down in Ori Miklot. Now look at the Gemara, please. Miklot, Umatzo'o Goel Hadom, doing the Gemara, Vaharogoi, and kills him, Potter. Okay, he's exempt. Why is that? Kusova, because he is of the opinion, and this is the passage we want to look at. V'lo ein mishpat moves b'goel hadom hu dichsiv. Now we can see, please, Peter, the pasuk. What's this talking about? Depends how you learn this pasuk that Peter would show us. Below a mishpat moves. Thank you. Pen Yirdof. Actually, if you could just scroll to the previous pasuk, which you can see how this flows from one to the other. Remember, this is the famous pasuk we're familiar with. 19:5, which talks about someone, remember, is gone with some to the wood. Remember the handle, well, there was a machlukas what it meant, the handle slipping off, or maybe wood coming off the tree. Such an individual who killed accidentally, he should flee get there as quick as he can. Don't just walk there, get there as quickly as you can. This word yonus, to flee. Now look at the next pasuk. B'kapen yirdov goel adom. Hot in anger, and I will see in a minute whether that's permitted or not. V'siga, and he catches him. Ki yir behaderech, if there's a great distance. Ki yir behaderech, and that's what he says here when it's a great distance. V'hikohu nefesh, and then he kills him. This goel hadom. He calls him a blood avenger. I don't know about that. Goel Hadom, not avenging, but redeeming the blood of the person who was killed. Goel Hadom. But the crucial part is the next bit. Velo ein mishpat moves. He, if you say ein, it's not appropriate for him, but of ein mishpat moves, there is no death penalty for him. Okay, what's it mean below ein mishpat moves? There is no death penalty for him. Who is the low? Now, to leave out the translation that we've got here. Okay, so there are two ways you can learn below. The low could be referring to the beginning of the pasuk, the Goel Hadom, or it could be referring to the Rotzeach. In other words, the Rotzeach's told, get as quickly as you can to the Ore Miklot, because we're trying to help you out, and that's why there's signposts, because he is not deserving of the death penalty, this Rotzeach. Why? Because it was, look at the next part, Ki lo sone lo hu lo mitzvah shilshon. He did not hate him. Clearly, this is talking about the one who killed. That last part we'll come to in a moment, but go back again, velo ein mishpat moves. It could be referring to the Goel Hadom. Get there as quickly as you can. And this Goel Hadom, ein mishpat moves, there is no death penalty for him, to the Goel Hadom, and therefore he can kill the Rotzeach if he wants to. So therefore, as I say, get there as quickly as you can. So it's this below ein mishpat moves. Can you see? It can refer to the Goel Hadom, below ein mishpat moves, in which case that's the proof that the Goel Hadom is allowed to kill. There's no mishpat moves for the Goel Hadom killing him. Or no, he will run after you. Below ein mishpat moves, this Rotzeach, ein mishpat moves, there's no death penalty for him really, because meaning he did not kill intentionally, and therefore we're trying to get him to the Ori Miklat as quickly as possible. Now let's go back to the Gemara, please.
Why is it called him a Rotzeach? I mean, that's implying that he's guilty of intentional murder. I mean, if he's
no. We explained this before. Remember, there is some negligence involved. That's
But
we're used to hearing of Rotzeach meaning a murderer. Rotzeach encompasses both someone who murders intentionally, or someone who's when it's an accidental death, but there is some negligence involved. That's very important. If there's no negligence involved, totally out of his control. We've explained this before. Remember the car, which has just been sorted, just gone through the MOT, and the brakes fail. Totally out of his control. That's called an onus, and he's not called a Retzeach. So Retzeach would include both those, whether it's intentional or accidental, but with some negligence. That's all. Not gross negligence, because that's not an accident, but it's still a Retzeach, even more severe. But you could have someone in an occasion where there was gross negligence, but there's no Eidim. No Eidim to see this happening. He wouldn't go to Golus. He wouldn't get the death penalty. And then you have the case where there are actually witnesses who saw this. He was warned, etc. Such an individual would be Chayiv Misa with the death penalty. And then our case is the accidental. So, Omer Rav Huna, Potter. Why? Because Sova, he is of the opinion, Rav Huna, that those words that we saw below a mishpat moves, there's no death penalty on him. This is referring to the Goel Adom, the close relative of the person who was killed, who is allowed, the Torah allowed, we'll see in a minute, is allowed, not in a minute actually, at the moment we think it's Potter, he is allowed to kill. Okay, but Goel Hadom Hakosov Medaber. Now, have a look, please. Begol Adom Hakosov Medaber, or what do we go? Begol Adom Hu Dichsiv. Have a look at the Rashi. V'hochi ka'oma. And this is how you would now translate the posuk. Pen yirdov goel hadom acharei horetzeach. Unless this goel hadom will pursue after the murderer, in brackets, unintentional. V'hisigo, and he will catch him. V'hikohu nefesh, and he will kill the Rotseach. Now Rashi explains, V'lo yisyorei mebezdin, and this Goel Adam needs not worry about the Bezdin that will say that he's killed this Rotseach. Ki lo ein mishpat moves, because he, the Goel Adam, he is not liable for the death penalty. He's allowed to kill. What about the end of the posuk? V'sofa mikra ha'omer ki lo soneh loi. He does not hate him. He didn't hate him. Musaf al Rosho goes right back to the beginning. Pen yid of Goel Adom, unless the Goel Adom will pursue him. Pen yid of Goel Adom. That's why I tell you, Bezdin, to make sure you've organized these places. Kilo so now hoyolo. Because he didn't kill, he didn't hate him. This is talking about the original Rotseach. V'lo harogo midas, he did not kill him intentionally. So the last part is talking about the murderer who killed unintentionally. But v'lo ein mishpat mov, are you with me? V'lo ein mishpat movis is talking about the Goel Hadom. Okay, so back to our Gemara. So we have learned now that this below a mishpat moves is referring to the Goel Hadom, who is allowed to kill, because a mishpat moves if he kills. That's why we tell the Bezdin to set up these with, as I say, notices and signposts everywhere to enable the Rotzach to get there as quickly as he can, so that the Goal Adom cannot catch him, because lo a mishpat moves. Okay? Continues the Gemara. Meisvei. We've got a strong question against this. Don't forget, this is Rav Huna. Rav Huna being an Amora. If we can find a Tana who disagrees with him, he will have to put up the white flag, and he will have to say, I have to accept what the Tana says. That's exactly what we do now. Meisvei. We've got a brisa which says, Velo a mishpat moves, is talking about the Rotzach. Nothing to do with the Goel Adom. The Goel Adom may kill him. He shouldn't, but we're scared that he might do that of his own volition. He decides he's going to do that. Later on, maybe he'll be able to do that. But don't forget, we're talking here about the Rotzach on his way to the Ori Miklot. So Rav Huna says the Goal Adom, if he kills him, is exempt. It looks like from this price, or this price is very clear that that's not the case, because Veloe Mishpat Moves is not referring to the Goel Adom, it's referring to the Rotzach. Have a look, please, at Rashi. Are you with me? So again, recap. This person is on his way to the Ori Miklot. Hasn't been there, but he's on his way. And as he's on the way, is the Goel Adom allowed at that point? He hasn't yet got to the Ori Miklot. Is the Goel Adom, this is the redeemer of the blood of the person who was killed? Is he or is he not allowed to kill him? Look at this, Rashi. Those words that we were worried about, Velo a mishpat moves, says Rashi, is actually not talking about the Goel Adom, because the Goel Adom is not allowed to kill him. Because the Rotzach HaKos of Medaber, says Rashi, have you got the Rashi? Rotzach HaKos of Medaber, Hochi Ka'omar. This is the way you should understand, this is the way it's being said, this posuk, according to the Brisa. Pen Yirdoif Vihisigoi, lest this Goel Adom, the nearest relation, runs after him, and Vihisigo catches up with him, Vihikahu, and kills him. And why do we do all these things? To ensure that we can get to the Ori Miklot as quickly as possible. That's what it means, Ein Mishvat Movis. This Rotzach does not deserve to die. Why? Kilo Sone Hoyo Larog. He didn't hate the person who was killed. Obviously, that's been looked into, and we'll see. We are talking about a case where it was unintentional. He didn't kill him with full knowledge and intent. You with me? So, according to that, the Rotzach, it's talking about the Rotzach. Now, if those words, below a mishpat moves, there's no death penalty on him, is referring to the person who killed because he killed accidentally, we do not have a pasuk which tells us that the Goel Adom at this juncture is allowed to kill the person who killed that accidentally. You with me? So this
why does it use the word mishpat and not din? Because it's not mishpat mavet is a bit. It sounds like
no, a judgment. Process. Yeah. Even going through that the process, the mishpat would not say that this individual, not a din would sound more perhaps like a halacha, We've got that word din referring to halal. It's not
Well, it's
what we're looking at here.
no, but
We're
it's a
looking at
din. It's already been decided that the court is.
A mishpat movis means a mishpat, a judgment it is a judgment that we're looking at rather than a normal din. You find that posuk, the word din, ben din ledin, where it talks about any halacha, a din and a halacha. So I think the word mishpat means it's a judgment. And that is very much that a mishpat like of a bezdin. Ultimately, will be the bezdin who's going to have to decide all this. They're going to have to decide whether or not this person should be killed. So it fits in very nicely. There's no judgment of death against the murderer.
No, I understand that. I'm just questioning the word mishpat. Has there been a decision of court, or has there not been a decision? Because if there's been a decision,
yes,
in relation to this, it should be a gzar din.
Yeah, you're right.
Mishpat.
But there hasn't been a decision yet.
There hasn't been a decision.
No, this is the
because
point.
He's running away, or he's going to the Il Miklat.
Rashi just says he hasn't yet got to Ori Miklot. Now, you're right, back to your case. It could be he's either going for the very first time after the judgment's been made, but hadn't yet got to the Ori Miklot, or he's killed, doesn't know what to do with himself, so he rushes off, but it is accidental. I think you're right. It sounds more like, with this from the Rashi as well, that there's no judgment against the Rotseach. In other words, the judgment was that it was unintentional. So there you can quite happily say the word, if mishpat means that judgment's already taken place, then it's very nice. You can say he hasn't yet got to Ori Miklot. Once he gets there, the Mishnah will deal with that in the next Omud. So this is first time he's going to the Ori Miklot. Although what happens at the very beginning, but we'll see in a minute. So let's assume we're talking about this is after the judgment, but this is the very first time he's going on his way to the Ori Miklat after it's been decided that that's where he will have to spend his time. Hello there. So, Sam, just to conclude, yes.
Yeah, presumably there would have had to have been a judgment, because otherwise he wouldn't have the right to go to the Il Miklat. I mean, he can't determine off his own bat that he can go to an Il Miklat on the basis that it's shogeg, unless the court has actually decided that.
Unless he will assume that you'll see later on people tended, however, I'm not sure how often this must have happened, but people would attend, it was accidental. Even if it wasn't accidental, they'll assume it, well, not assume, or maybe hope it will be, and then rush off to there. And they're hoping that, yes, that's the decision that will be made. But so you're right, there are going to be two occasions, just immediately after the murder, he's going to rush off there, hoping that he'll get away with it. Or it could be after the judgment, and this is what's happening. He's now going there for about the first time. He's going there perhaps with his suitcase because that's been decided that's where he's going to go. So let's assume it's that second one. That fits in very nicely. There's lo ein mishpat moves. There wasn't a judgment of death against the Rotseach. Therefore, we do what we can to make sure, although, see, from the posuk itself, it could either be that, or, as I say, the very first time before the case has happened. But there, you can still use the word mishpat. There won't be a judgment of death against him. He was accidental. He feels it was accidental. Therefore, we're doing what we can to enable him to get to the Ori Miklot. So, 1 minute. The Brisa says, "V'lo ein mishpat moves" is referring to the Rotseach. There's no mention about the Goel Adom. So it looks like the Goel Adom will be taking things into his own hands, but we are scared that might happen. He's very unhappy. Well, there'll be more about this Goel Adom. So according to the Braisa, there's no mention that below a Mishpat Moves is referring to the Goel Adom. Right? Carry on. Well, I'm in the middle of this Braisa, tricky one. The beginning of the line again. Dichsiv Meisvei. Below a Mishpat Moves, Berotzeach HaKosav Medaber. The Braisa expels this out more. Berot again. Berotzeach HaKosav Medaber. Ata Omer Berotzeach. You say this is referring to the Rotzeach. Oh, Eino Ela B'Goel Adom. Maybe it is. I'm getting a bit of background. I don't. There may be something. Peter, everybody is on.
It's probably me. I need to mute. 1 minute. But the reason I'm not.
You're with it. You're not even on the.
I'm not. I wanted to ask you a question, but you've not noticed my hand. Never mind.
I can no. Just why you're not on the screen.
I've got. Yeah,
Oh, hold on a minute, Peter.
No.
I haven't got Mervyn on my screen. Have you?
Yes, I do.
Well, it's very interesting. For some reason, I have everybody else, but not Mervyn. But Farrell, that's why I didn't see your hand, because you're not there.
Oh, maybe you need to go to scroll down, that's all.
I'm scrolling across. I'm on gallery, but I haven't got Mervyn. But far away, Mervyn. I do apologize.
No, not perhaps because my video is off.
Oh, now you're there. Now you're there.
Can you see the hand though?
Yes, and I can see the yellow hand. Yes.
Actually, you can have the screen on. I think the video is off. You can't have the screen. Okay. Now, I just want to ask if Karen for I don't understand the logistics of this. This guy, this accident happens, or
yes,
semi-accidental.
Yes.
Yeah. So somebody just get arrested. He gets taken to the Beth Din, and judgment has to be made, because if this, he can't just run off himself to the Miklat Club, because there's got to be some jurisdiction that he's got to stay there till the
right. Now this person assumes it's going to be, or most people will try and run off to the Miklat. That's what it sounds like. Once this,
so they're just taking the law into their own hands in a sense. He doesn't have.
Yeah. They're hoping for the best. They're hoping that it will be classified as it was an accident.
It's going to get registered. It hasn't been to a Beth Din. It hasn't been.
No. You start off there and then wait for the Beis Din to call him. He will then go from the Miklat, and then the decision will be made.
And the Beth Din will call him because witnesses have seen this accident or whatever.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And they'll find it was this gentleman, this person who did it, and then they'll be called.
All right. And in the second scenario,
and then you're right. There's that bit, and then there's the second time when he goes from the court to the Miklat. Once it's been decided that that's where he's meant to go. You with me?
So there's going to be a
now,
race
then clearly,
the girl had Tom may have come to the court case as an interested relative, and the girl had probably have been there.
You're right. He'll be there and find out that.
So as soon as the judgment's made, the road staff dashes out the front, gets the next train to the Orient.
Well, no. 1 minute, but then he's still got it. Well, then of course he can go with some other individuals with him as he goes. But then the first time, he looks like he's going to go on his own. We'll see.
So does his? Can I just?
Yeah.
Sorry. Does his status of Goel Adam apply in the? I mean, the moment the court determines it's a shogeg, yes. there is no Goel Hadam. I mean, there is no right.
No. That's what we'll have to have a look in the very next Mishnah when it's going to talk about that. Actually, it's on Yud Aleph. Yeah, then when they start the whole next daf, Yud Aleph is the Goel Adom piece, which the Goel Adom, once it's been decided it was accidental, the Goel Adom then will it looks like he will be classified as the Goel Adom, and we'll see in a minute where, or there's a machlokas you can see on Yud Aleph Amud Beis, whether he's allowed to, should he try to, this Goel Adom. That's all, don't forget, part of the punishment, if you like, of this Rotzeach. And again, we keep stressing there was some negligence. If it's decided it was an onus, totally out of his, there's no way he could have known anything about this at all, then there will be no Goel Adom. The person's free, and the Goel Adom doesn't come into it. However, the Goel Adom would come into it if it's going to be decided that he is actually, if he's killed accidentally. So there are two ways to look at this. I think in some way the easiest way would be once he's killed, he will rush off there. And the question we're looking at now is, can the Goel Adom at that point kill him on his way? You could say it's talking about once the Beis Din has decided that it's chayev, but the Goel Adom can't do anything yet until he's got to the court, till he's got to the Orei Miklot. So at the moment, we're looking here and we're saying, as Rashi has said, he's on the way to the Orei Miklot.
But isn't the case that by definition, once he's in the Ir Miklat,
yes,
he's protected against?
Yes, he is. But he
so
can't
I mean,
come
either
out.
the ruling is that he should be protected, and
Yes.
there's no Goel Hadam who can pursue him,
Yes.
or not. It seems a bit of an odd kind of mix-up to put him in an Ir Miklat, and he's still worried about being pursued.
No. You are right. Once he's in the Orei Miklot, the Goel Adom cannot kill him. If he goes out of Orei Miklot, that's his lookout. What about on his way to Orei Miklot?
Right.
That's the question we're focusing on. Once he's there, he's not allowed out until, as we'll see, the Kohen Gadol dies. So then, if he leaves, that's his own fault, if you like. He needs to be very careful exactly how, the borders of the Orei Miklot. He should say Orei Miklot. We are not focusing on that. That's the next duff. We are focusing on his way to the Orei Miklot. In other words, does the rule of the Goel Adom already apply? Or no, it does not apply until he's got to the Orei Miklot. And then he must be very careful if he leaves. Now, from here, it sounds like we're scared that there are two ways you could learn. You could learn the Goel Adom may take things into his own hands. He shouldn't, but we do what we can to make sure he can get to the Orei Miklot as quickly as possible, because the Goel Adom may, as I say, wrongly take things into his own hands. Or, no, we need to be scared of the Goel Adom because he is allowed to kill. That's the question we're looking at. So Rav Huna said he is allowed to kill on his way to the Orei Miklot. The Brisa does not tell us that. The Brisa says, let's go back to this Brisa, Meisvei, v'lo ein mishpat moves berotzeach. It's talking about the person who killed. And we're scared of this Goel Adom because he may take things into his own hands. That's what we're scared about. And to continue the Gemara.
Sorry, can I just quick?
Yeah, there's somebody.
Quickly,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Malcolm. Hello there.
Sorry, I just
Yeah, no, good. Yes, good to see you.
I apologize for not. I've missed a few, so I have a sort of a retro question. Is it possible, like in one sentence, how does this Goel Hadam? Sorry, I mean, who is he? Sorry,
who is it? You're right.
I mean,
who is this Goel Adom?
Not who is it, but what is this?
Put your hand up.
The concept.
The concept is all coming, as I say, it's coming up in the whole of the next duff.
Okay,
so
sorry.
Watch this space.
Okay,
but it's important you should know this. It's normally the closest relative of the person who was killed. Later on, we'll see, has the right to kill this individual who, I say, he's called a Rotzeach because he killed unintentionally, but with some negligence. So therefore, it's up to the Goel Adom. Maybe he doesn't have to take up that option, but he can.
Is there a sort? Sorry, can you just put me like not
Yes.
for now? I don't want to take up time, but is there a sort? Was he introduced like a few pages ago? Is that?
Oh yeah.
Was the idea of it?
The idea. I mean, I suppose it's coming up because of the psukim we've been looking at. You're right. The Mishnayos haven't really spoken about other than telling us that make sure. I suppose it's referred to in the Torah when we be looking at the psukim. It always refers to this pasuk we just saw today. It talks about the Goel Hadom. We're scared that the Goel Hadom, but we haven't really focused much on the Goel Hadom. You're right. It's taken for granted, I suppose. We've got this pasuk in the Torah telling us there is this Goel Hadom. And now the question is, we haven't worked out quite what are the rules of the Goel Hadom. We've got it's a pasuk in the Torah. Peter, can you show that pasuk to us once again?
No.
Just to clarify that, if it's nearby. There we are. And look at the pasuk 6. Pen Yirdov Goel Hadom. The Goel Hadom, I know he's called it the blood avenger. That's not quite right. Goel Hadom means the redeemer of the blood of the one who was killed will come after this Rotzeach. So that's where we've seen it when we've been looking at these psukim. We don't know too much about this Goel Hadom and exactly what his rights are, and we're trying to clarify a little bit of that now. So back to our pasuk. Quite a tricky piece here. So Meisvei. Yeah, got quite a few. Yeah, that's good now. Meisvei, again. We've got a brisa which seems to contradict Rav Huna. Let's follow this through. Oh, Eino, beginning of the line, oh, Eino Elabagot. Maybe that pasuk, the brisa asked the question, maybe the pasuk is referring to the Goel Hadom, not the Rotzeach. In which case the Goel Hadom, as Rav Huna said, would be allowed to kill this Rotzeach. Says the brisa, proving it doesn't mean the Goel Hadom. He did not hate him prior to the killing. Now that, when he talks about, have a look, Havi omer berotzeach hakosov medaber. That is talking about the Rotzeach. He is the one who killed initially, unintentionally. He did not hate that individual. That's what we're talking about here, unintentional. So if that's talking about the Rotzeach, then according to the brisa, he, when it says here, V'hu lo soneh lo, he didn't hate him, mitzmal shilshon. If that's talking about the Rotzeach, we think the earlier part is also talking he. No, I'm not. That's not laughter. That's talking about the individual in the pasuk. The pasuk is always talking about the one who killed, not the Goel Hadom. Yes, the word Goel Hadom is mentioned at the very beginning, but the rest of it, the hu lo soneh lo, is the Rotzeach, and also below a mishpat modes is also talking about the Rotzeach. In which case, we cannot say below ein mishpat modes is talking about the Goel Hadom. I'm sorry, Rav Huna, you are incorrect. Back to the Gemara. Beginning of the line is Omer. Omer berotzeach hakosim medaber. Hu da Omer ki hai Tana. There is another Tana who learns this pasuk differently, in fact, in the way Rav Huna learned it. And all Rav Huna was saying is, the halacha is like this brisa. Let's see this brisa. The sun here. We've got another brisa. V'lo a mishpat moves is talking about the Goel Hadom. Begoel hadom hakosu medaber. Ato oimer, you say begoel hadom, which means an exemption that the goel hadom can then kill the rotzeach. Oh, eino elo berotzeach. Maybe it's talking about the rotzeach. Now look how the Brisa learns this the other way round compared to the previous Brisa. He didn't hate him yesterday, the day before, and that clearly is talking about the rotzeach. You don't need a double language in the posuk to tell us that it was accidental. Once you say that is talking about the rotzeach. So why do you need? Have a look at the Rashi. Harotzeach omor she'ein lo mishpat moves. Once you've got those words hulo soinele mitzmal shilshom, that already has told us that he is therefore not subject to the death penalty. Correct? Look at the Rashi. V'lo hoyo tzorich lichtov bishvilo v'lo ein mishpat moves. I've already got that by telling me hulo soinele mitzmal shilshom. That already tells me he's free of the death penalty. It was not intentional. I don't need a repetition of that in the previous words saying below a mishpat moves. You with me? Continues the Brisa, Omo, Homa'ani makayim below a mishpat moves, begoel hadom hakosov bedaber. We are talking about, therefore, the goel hadom, and he can therefore, according to Rav Huna, is allowed to kill the goel hadom he's allowed to kill the rotzeach on his way to Orei Miklot. Now, look at the next piece. And we learned in the Mishnah, if you turn to the Mishnah, it's quite somewhere, those people who've got a Gemara, in Daf Tes on the base, although the Gemara will reckon this out right now. So you've got the Mishnah which tells us Umoisren lohem shnei talmidei chachomim. The Bezdin, once it's decided that he is chayiv to go to Golus, it was an accident with there was some negligence. Then, as we said before, the court case decided. Moisrin lo shnei talmidei chachomim. And the Gemara says, Shema, the Mishnah, Shema yahargenu b'derech. V'yedabru elov. There are two Talmidei Chachomim who are sent with this Rotzeach on his way to the Orei Miklot, because we'll have to understand this. Shema yahargenu, perhaps he will kill him. This is the Goel Hadom. Hold on. V'yedabru elov, and they will speak to him. So again, it's getting clearer that we are focusing on the time after the court case. Look at the Gemara. The Gemara is going to bring this as a question. Tanan. Tanan. Moisrin lo shnei. Beginning line is Talmidei Chachomim. Sent with him, handed over from the Bezdin. The Bezdin will ensure that there are two Talmidei Chachomim sent with him. Shema yahargenu b'derech v'yedabra elov. Oh, so the fact that we're bringing this Mishnah, following on from Rav Huna, seems to show this is therefore the whole discussion we've had is after the court case. And that will help you, Sam, with this word mishpat. There's been a mishpat, a judgment, but they're going to speak to him. They're going to speak to whom? They're going to speak as long as they're in close vicinity of the Goel Adom. They will speak to him. Says the Gemara, my love, the Masrube. Oh, they're going to speak to him and tell him, warn him, De'i kotel bar katolahu. If he kills the Goel Adom, please don't, not more than please, don't kill this individual. He hasn't yet got to Golus. You with me? So you can see from this, the way of the flow of the Gemara, that we are talking about after the court case. We've got to get him as quickly as we can to the Ori Miklot. And two people are sent with him. In case they meet up with the Goel Adom, they will then be able to talk to him. And what will they say? The Gemara assumes they're going to say, don't kill this Rotzeach. He hasn't yet got to Ori Miklot, showing from the Mishnah that this is against what Rav Huna said. You with me? Rav Huna said he's allowed to kill him. So there's no point these Talmidei Chachomim speaking and warning the Goel Adom not to kill him. He's allowed to kill. That's the Gemara's question. My love, wouldn't you say Damas Rabbe De'i Kotel Baka Tolu? Says the Gemara, no. Rav Huna will say no. Lo. Kidasanya. There's a brisa which clarifies, perhaps in more detail, what exactly these Talmidei Chachomim are going to say if they meet up with the Goel Adom. Vayedabra elav devarim horu'uyim lo. Suitable, appropriate words. Look at this. Omrim lo, they would say to him, please, al tanaheg bo minhag shofchei domim. Don't kill this individual, this Rotzeach. They don't warn him, you're not allowed to kill the Rotzeach, but there are words trying to calm down this Goel Adom, according to Rav Huna. Do you understand? The Goel Adom is allowed to kill the Rotzeach. These Talmidei Chachomim, and it's more difficult, not just lawyers. I wouldn't say nothing wrong with lawyers, but these Talmidei Chachomim, hopefully the Goel Adom will feel towards these Talmidei Chachomim, and where they wouldn't want to, maybe he won't want to kill him in front of the Talmidei Chachomim. And what will the Talmidei Chachomim say? They will say, please, it may well be that you're allowed to, but you can see from the Lashon of the Brisa, Al tanaheg boi minhag shofchei domim. Don't behave in a way like of killers. It's true, you may be allowed to do this, but you don't have to do this, and it will be so much better. I'm sure they've got some a wonderful speech to really persuade this Goel Adom not to carry out. Continue on. Look at the Gemara. Bishkogo bo masele yodai. It was an accident, so you should really forgive him. He's on his way to Ori Miklot, hasn't even got there yet. I know you may be allowed to kill him, but don't do that, because, as we've heard, it was an accident, and that's what their speech would be all about. Now, just to finish this piece, the Mishnah says also, Rab Meir says, Hu medaber al yedei atzmo. Yes, you've got these Talmidei Chachomim with him, and it will then make it more difficult, if you like, for this Goel Adom, although according to Rav Huna, he's allowed to kill him. But in front of these big old rabbis, maybe he might feel, I can't really do this, but it's very important that the man speaks for himself. Hopefully, this is very good, you see. According to Rav Meir, it will give this Rotzeach an opportunity to say, I'm really sorry about this, I really didn't mean it, and it was an accident, and etc., etc. And that's itself, according to Rab Meir, part of the process of, let's say, rehabilitation, and also asking for forgiveness and getting it out of his system. Look at this, Rab Meir. I'm doing the Gemara here. Rab Meir Omer, Hu medaber al yedei atzmai. He should speak for himself as well. Why? Look at this. The Pasuk says, B'zeh davar harotzeach. This is the word of the Retzeach. What do you mean the word? We're taking this quite literally. That this the word of the Retzeach. He himself should speak for himself, and maybe you've got the other individuals as well. This is Rab Meir. B'zeh davar harotzeach. Omru loi, the Chachomim who disagreed with Rab Meir, according to the Chachomim, he can keep out of this. He can just allow the rabbis, the senior rabbis, to argue his case. Omrulo harbe shelichus oiseh. Have a look at the Rashi, please. Harbe shelichus oiseh. Now, there's a difficult point here. I don't know if you've got the Rishash on this, but we may not need it. Let's have a look at Rashi. Harbe shlichus oiseh. A shlichus can do a huge amount. In other words, if you're passing this over to, obviously, the Talmidei Chachomim that have been selected are those people that can really not only give wonderful sermons from the pulpit, they're people who can talk to other individuals and try and persuade them to do things. That's what we're saying here. You make the Chachomim answer and say no. Devorim she'enon nasim al yedei odom, often things which can't be done by the individual themselves. Nasim umiskablim al yedei. Now that word harbe, according to the Rishash, it should go. The word harbe should come before the word al yedei. Yeah, according to the Rishash at the back. So let's read this again with the word harbe. Promoted 2 extra words, if you see what I mean. Let's read that Rashi again. Harbe shlichus oiseh. This is the Rashi. Devorim she'einem nasim al yedei odom nasim umiskablim harbe al yedei shluchim. In many instances, a lot more than the individual speaking for himself. So interesting. It sounds like from the Gemara that according to Rab Meir, they are just with him, but he is speaking. All the speaking is coming from him. The Chachomim say no, it should come from these wise senior Rabbonim, these Zakanim that are going out, because in many instances, just like hopefully these rabbis could persuade people to do wonderful things. From the shul on Shabbos or whatever, they're generally wonderful with people. Their social skills are meant to be tremendous. Those obviously are the people who've been selected. They'll say, well, look, we're speaking on behalf of the individual here. They can say, we know that, maybe he's sorry for what he's done, but it may be better, or according to Chachamim, it is better to have the other individuals, v'zeh davar Retzeach. They're not taking that literally. This is the matter regarding the Retzeach, but not that he has to speak himself. You with me? So out of all of that, once we got to the end of the Gemara at this point, because now the Gemara goes on to, and it was, yes, Mama, we're picking that up in a minute. Bishkoga Bamas, to another point. Anyway, we've run out of time, so that's a good place to stop. So the conclusion is, according to Rav Huna, we can see from the questioning of the Gemara later, this is very good. There were a couple of options as we started with, but from the end of the Gemara, Rav Huna is talking about after the court case has taken place, it's been decided this individual is a Rotzeach Bishkoga. Can the Goel Adom kill him already at that point? Yes, he's allowed to. And that's what it means. We're learning Pshat below a Mishpat Moves. There will be no judgment of death against this Goel Adom because he is allowed to if he wants to. And for that reason, we send 2 Talmidei Chachomim with the Rotzeach on his way to Ori Miklot. Not that they will warn the Goel Adon, don't you dare kill him because you'll be chayav misa for that. No, they can't say that because according to Rav Huna and that brisa which we paskin like, the Goel Adon can kill the Rotzeach, but they will try and placate him. They will try and explain using their skills, oratory skills, I suppose persuasive skills, that really, although he can, it would be so much better if he doesn't continue on with us, allowing him to get to Ori Miklot, hopefully safely, where he will spend his time, and that will be part of the process of the teshuvah of the Rotzeach. With that, gentlemen, I think we've finished. I've got the time. Let us say a kapitel of Tehillim.